What's going on, everybody? I'm Mike Levenko. Week 3 is here, and after the most boring game ever on Thursday night, between the Gardner Minshew, who thought in a million years you'd say that, led Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans, who Marcus Mariota probably won't be starting for in the near future or next year. Moving on from that garbage. This weekend, we have some exciting matchups. We have the Chiefs versus the Ravens, which will most certainly be a shootout. We have the Houston Texans at the LA Chargers. Browns take on the Rams in Cleveland. So we have some great games to look forward to this weekend. Last week, I finished 3-2 with wins with the Seattle Seahawks plus 3.5, the Rams minus 1.5 against the Saints, and the Cardinals were 12.5-point underdogs against the Ravens. Did we get lucky with some quarterback injuries? You bet we did, but hey, a win is a win. My first game is the Houston Texans plus 3 over the LA Chargers. The Chargers are always a weird team. They beat teams they shouldn't beat and lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to. Week 1, they beat the Colts by 6. That's Jacoby Brissett-led Colts also. But in Week 2, they lost to the Lions 10-13. The Chargers are currently 4th in the NFL in yards per game, but are just averaging over 20 points per game. Now, it's still early, but these are the stats we have to go off of. The Texans had their shootout on Monday night in Week 1, and in Week 2, they played Jacksonville's great defense. The Chargers don't seem to make sense to me as the favorites here. You have a great defense with the Houston Texans, and I don't think Phillip is going to be able to beat that Houston D. And let me go on record and say that I think Austin Eckler is due for a big regression game. He's tiny, and he's no Melvin Gordon. My next game is one that jumped out to me. The LA Rams minus 3.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield looked pretty bad on Monday Night Football against the Jets. Lucky for him, the Jets were playing third stringer Luke Falk, so they didn't have much of a chance. Baker was inconsistent and was holding the ball way too long. Baker holding onto the ball isn't going to work well with the Rams' elite D-line. Baker also got David Njoku hurt and got Odell sandwiched between two defenders with the passes being too high. I think the Rams' offense is too high-powered for this Cleveland D, and I think the Cleveland line won't be able to contain Aaron Donald and company. I'll take the 2-0 Rams to stay undefeated. My next pick is the Seattle Seahawks minus 4.5 at home against New Orleans Saints. This will be Teddy Bridgewater's first game starting since playing in a Week 17 meaningless game last season against the Panthers, in which he lost to Kyle Allen, who's actually starting for Cam Newton this week. Before the Week 17 start for Bridgewater, his last start would have been back in 2016 for the Vikings. The Saints defense is allowing the 9 most yards per game, while the Seahawks are averaging the 17th most. That's a 50-yard difference. Throw away all of the offensive stats for the Saints, as with no Breeze, this offense will be completely different. Seattle at home minus 4.5 seems like a guarantee to me, and that's who I'm taking this week. The fourth game I'm taking is the Arizona Cardinals minus 2 over the Carolina Panthers. Like I mentioned earlier, Cam Newton is out with a foot injury, so Kyle Allen is getting the start. Allen played in the Week 17 meaningless game against the Saints last year, actually winning and playing pretty well, completing 64.5% of his passes and throwing for 2 touchdowns. Now, Arizona's defense hasn't been very good, giving up 458 yards a game, which is only behind the Miami Dolphins, shockingly. But, unlike Miami, the Cardinals have only given up 50 points this year. Kyler Murray has shown big play potential and good accuracy downfield, which is surprising to me. Murray only has 1 turnover through 2 games, which is rare, especially for a rookie quarterback who has thrown the ball 94 times this season, which leads the NFL. Arizona at home against an inexperienced quarterback in Allen who's just being thrown in there with the Newton injury. I'm going to take the Cardinals. But hey, fantasy owners, expect about 1,000 touches from McCaffrey this weekend. Now, here is one of the biggest shockers of the week. I am taking the over in the New York Jets versus New England Patriots of 43.5. Okay, so maybe it wasn't a big shocker, but to be honest, I'm too big of a wuss to take the Patriots minus 22. The Jets have an okay defense, and I think they played the Browns pretty tough, but I think New England might be too much for them in this game and make it another blowout. The Patriots are averaging 422 yards a game and are scoring 38 points on average. And on defense, have only given up 3 points in 2 games. To be fair, they did play Miami, but also only gave up 3 points to the Steelers in Week 1. I don't think Antonio Brown being released really affects the Patriots. They were great without him, and they'll be just fine without him now. I'm going to take the over at 43.5. I would like to see if the line moves downward at all with the release of Antonio Brown, but if not, I'm fine with 43.5. And that's it. Those are my 5 bets for week 3. I want to thank you guys so much for listening. I really, really do appreciate it. I love making these videos, and I know we're small now, but hey, maybe one day we can blow up a little bit. Maybe. If you're not subscribed, I put out at least one video a week. This week I actually did 2. This would be my second, so check out the other video I did for fantasy owners. And give this video a like. I want to thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time.